What is going on, everybody? I think we are just about ready. Let me bring this down like so. And over here and right there. Yep, I think we're just about ready. All right, get rid of that and that, and here we go. Right, this is the cargo. This is the cargo that I had going for. No, I didn't. We were heading south last time. We were heading south towards Santa Cruz last time, and the job was taking a really, really long time. So I took us into Santa Cruz. I took me into Santa Cruz. Let's get some windows up here. I took me into Santa Cruz off camera, and then I picked this up, and it looks like it's going to be raining. And you know what? That's perfect, because it is a cold, rainy day where I am in real life. Get some beacons on here. Get some hazards off. Brake is off. Let's get out of here. We ready? Fiona, what is happening? How's your afternoon going? I guess it's evening for you. Let's see if we can slide over here. Oh, sir, I'm gonna have to ask you to give me a little room there. What was that? There we go. All right, we're good now. Yeah, I think the way the traffic routes, sometimes the splines, you know, don't always recognize. All right, here's our first detour. Are they diverting us, or are they just sending us around? Yep, that looks all the way closed. Okay. Yep, here's our first detour. I don't know how far down I have to turn this to not get detours anymore. It's just about all the way down. I get them all the time. Man, I've been fighting with technology the past few days. You may notice track IR is a little bouncy. I had a really good setting for track IR. Called Smooth, that I was using for the 2 truck simulators. And when I was trying to get it configured for X camera and X plane, I accidentally overwrote that profile. I was trying to, or no, I'm sorry, there's a template and a profile. They're 2 different things in track IR. And what I did was I wrote the settings that I'm creating for X-Plane, I wrote those over the settings that I was using for the truck simulator. So I'll need to go back in at some point and, always with the traffic. I'll need to go back in at some point and recreate those to make them smooth again. But yeah, my camera's bouncing all over the place. I've been having problems with that. I've been having problems with OBS. Well, not with OBS per se, but I've been having a lot of game crashes when I'm in OBS, trying to swap back and forth from OBS to the sim or the game or whatever it is that we're going to stream. I've been getting some crashes, and that's not something that I had happen for several months, and now it's happening all the time. So trying to get that sorted out as well. I think it may have something to do with threading or priority, or you know. Because what you're doing with OBS is you're bringing windows to the front, you're sending them to the back, and Windows the app, not the Windows that you're working with, but Windows 10 sort of prioritizes and deprioritizes things resource-wise based on how close it is to the front. So if you bring a window to the front, Windows, and it's a good thing, it's a good process, good practice. But what they'll do is they'll make that the priority, and they'll give it a little bit more juice, you know, a little more oomph. But then there's also game mode, which I don't use. I keep it turned off. I'm just going to slip right in here. Ain't nobody got time for that. I don't use game mode, but I wonder sometimes if Windows 10 doesn't have some game settings or things that it's doing. So I think that may be part of the problem, is that when we move things around and move windows to the front and to the back, that can mess everything up. And I don't know, I always run in not windowed mode, full screen. I was running full screen mode, but I'm told that running some of this stuff in windowed mode can sort out some of those problems. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I updated Razer Synapse that I use for my headset and my gamepad. And every time you update Razer Synapse, it goes back in and like force overwrites these audio drivers that I don't use. They're for Synapse THX, they call it. And it's a virtual device, but it overwrites and creates those, and then they're in there. And it defaults everything to them, and I have no idea why, but Discord, right, has no sound because the sound device, rather than being my headset, it is now this THX Synapse driver. And it does the same thing in OBX, it does it in some games, so I got that all sorted out. And the past 2.5 days, 2 days, I fell down an X-Plane hole. Let me explain what happened. So they updated Flight Simulator, Microsoft Flight Simulator, and when they did, they broke well, they didn't break, that's too strong a word for it. But I was using a modded Airbus. And when they updated the sim itself, it made that mod no longer work, right? It broke it. So while I was waiting for that to get fixed, I hopped back in X-Plane. I hadn't spent a lot of time in X-Plane in airliners. I hadn't really spent a lot of time in airliners, period. I preferred more general aviation, smaller aircraft. So I had spent a lot of time in airliners. Hang on. Currently playing ETS 2. I also have rainy weather. Rain is great. I wish they would add icy roads. Yeah, I do as well. I don't know if this game will ever have seasons, but I think that would be fantastic. And I thought, now here's a fix. Tell me if I'm wrong here. Because I was trying to figure out how would you implement seasons, right? That the year would sort of cycle and you'd have seasons. What if they did this? What if it was, and of course this is, you know, opt in, opt out. You could turn this off if you wanted to, but what if it was always sort of fall and winter in Scandinavia and always spring and summer in Italy? And and I also thought of another DLC. I was thinking Russia is the only place they could go next. What about like Greece and down around the Mediterranean? Maybe they could do that. But yeah, that would be a fix. So you could have icy roads, but the only problem then is the only place you would ever have icy roads would be Scandinavia, and you would never have icy roads anywhere else. So I don't know. But I guess that's my solution to having the season cycle, that it would always just be locked into 1 month of the year, and that month would have winter roads. Slow it down. That month would have winter roads in Scandinavia. Just a thought. What was I upset about? What was I complaining about? All right, my mod got broken in Flight Simulator, which is not a big deal. So I hopped in X-Plane and I was flying this 737, and there really is. I totally get what people are saying now about Flight Simulator 20 being kind of a VFR simulator, a sightseeing simulator. I get it. I get it, because X-Plane is still the more sort of procedural, authentic airliner flight sim. I would say that is definitely the case. And I don't know if Flight Simulator 20 will ever get to that level. Turn those off. There we go. Or if it's only ever going to be what it is now. I don't know. They could add all that stuff. It used to be in. It was in FSX. Well, not as complete as X-Plane. There was a lot of that stuff in FSX. But I hopped in X-Plane. I was flying the 737, and I thought, this, I want more. I need more. It's never enough. So I downloaded the Zibo 737, and I spent like 2 days, not 2 days straight. I mean, I slept and stuff. But I spent 2 days trying to make a flight. Oh God. Traffic. 2 days trying to make a flight happen, sir, from Zurich to Amsterdam. Let's find a good gear here. And it was like every time I flew that flight, I made it a little bit further, and then something else would go wrong. And I was able to get the aircraft on the ground. It was not pretty, and we did, roll off into the grass. But I put it on the ground. If it was a real landing, everybody would have lived. I can't speak for like what condition the aircraft would be in, but everybody would have lived. And from there we'll polish it. But the Zibo 737 for X-Plane it's next level. It's got a lot of details, and it's got a lot of things modeled into it that I don't know if it's study level, right? That's a term they use for when you can use something in a sim to like practice to do something in real life when it's that accurate. I don't know if it's study level, but it's extraordinarily detailed. Really, really good. And it's got a lot of systems and subsystems, and little things happen, little things go wrong, and it's like, well, why'd that happen? Well, because you didn't tick this box or complete this field or something like that. So it's been fun, and I wouldn't say that I burned out on it, but I'm definitely looking forward to doing something else. And so I think after we're done here today, I think I'm going to drive some trains. Maybe drive some high-speed trains, Munich to Augsburg. So yeah, that's been fun. I've been rallying too. I've been rallying in WRC 8, and I don't know. That's sort of clicking for me as well. In the same way that X-Plane is, the graphics are not as good as Dirt Rally 2.0, and it does have that stutter problem because it's a console port. But I think the physics are really, really good. I saw some complaints in the Steam comments, people saying like, "Hey man, I don't want to have to like run a team. I just want to do races." So I get that. I personally enjoy a little bit of team management aspect. I think it breaks things up a bit. But yep, been rallying, been flying. And what else have I been doing? Nothing. Working out. Waiting for 2020 to be over. Stuff. And I'm trying to think of anything else. That's it. I saw a car list from Dirt Rally 5, and I think I'm going to take a pass on that. It looks fun, but it's a console game, I have to say, and there's nothing wrong with that. When I say it's a console game, I'm not like putting it down or anything. It's just a console game, and it's analogous to Grid, the new Grid, and even the new Project Cars. They're just fun games, lean back games, right? Open a beer, pour yourself a glass of wine, sit on the sofa, leaned back, not all leaned forward over your race rig. Lean back and just play a video game with your buddies. So I think I'm going to take a pass on that. I got enough proper sims going. Proper. And when I was in WRC 8 and driving around, I was thinking about X-Plane, and I've been watching a YouTuber, Flight Deck to Sim, and they are a real 737 pilot in real life, and they fly very accurately and very realistically. They fly the Zibo as well, and they fly a lot of I guess very specific procedures and very specific things that you do, checklists, very accurate. Or they seem to be. I don't know. What do I know? I'm not a pilot, but they certainly seem to be accurate. They seem to be. Oh dear! I just noticed how low we are on fuel. Oh God! We should have stopped there and got fuel. Oh no! All right. Well, hopefully we make it. But they seem to play the game very, very realistically. Play the game. Let me say that differently. When they're in the sim, oh God, running out of fuel. When they're in the sim, they seem to be doing a lot of things very specifically, very accurately. Okay. I'm not at that level yet. I wonder if I ever could be, but trying to land the 737 versus landing the Airbus in Flight Simulator 20, or landing even the general aviation aircraft in Flight Simulator 20. I think it goes back to that question, if we can do something in a sim, would we be able to, maybe not do it perfectly in real life, but would we be able to do it at all? Would we be able to get a train moving, just a locomotive. I don't mean like a mile-long freight train or passenger service where you're hitting all your stops, but if you got into a locomotive, US, German, whatever, would you be able to get things started up, get the brakes off, and move it, I don't know, 1 mile, and then get it stopped approximately where you intend to? You'd think, right? But when I compare X-Plane to Flight Simulator, and I love both those sims, by the way. I'm not like putting Flight Simulator down or anything. But when you use your words. When you compare X-Plane to Flight Simulator, I guess it's like comparing Train Sim World or Train Simulator to Zusi or something. So you think, or I think, sure, you know, I could hop in a train, I could get that thing moving, no problem. But when you add in all the extra stuff that you get in something like the Zeebo mod, it does make me wonder. Or even, you know, driving a truck. I would say within a couple hours of buying this game and getting it fired up, within a couple hours of it, I was able to operate the truck and get where I wanted to go, no problem, right? Occasionally I still bump something or scrape something, but I don't have like massive rollovers like I did the first couple hours. Man, really having a problem with words today. We'll get past it. Persevere. But it leveled off relatively quickly, and I don't fool myself into thinking, here we go, here's fuel. I don't fool myself into thinking that because of that I could safely drive a tractor trailer. And I'm guessing that that applies out to all the other things that we do in Sim, whether it's planes, trucks, trains, tractors. Set the brake, lights off, engine off. Let's fill up. So yeah, I think that's playing X-Plane or being in X-Plane the past 48 hours, yeah. I think has sort of brought that home, that it's taken me like 15 trips, 18 trips, and they weren't all full length. It's about 2 hours from Zurich to Amsterdam. The way I fly it is. It's about 2 hours. And not all of those flights went 2 hours. Some of them went like 10 minutes. Or we had problems on takeoff, we had problems taxiing, right? And so you know, go to Reddit, figure out what the problem is, sort it out, reload the game, try it again. And I want to use that as sort of a test trip, but I want to do that trip over and over until I really have it dialed, and then I want to try it with some other airports, some other pairs. Here we go. And once I have that down, then I'm going to bring in VATSIM. I've wanted to try VATSIM for a long, long time. And it is intimidating, but I mean, I'll watch a stream or watch a video and I'll hear whatever streamer or YouTuber I'm watching. In the background of their stream on VATSIM, I'll hear like little kids. Seriously, like kids. 10, 12 years old. Which is awesome, by the way. Nerd power, I love it. But I figure if a little kid can do it, I can do it. It is intimidating, but I guess you just watch long enough, you know, observe long enough and see how people do it and then take the plunge. And you know, I'm a very self-conscious person. And I forget that, you know, in the vastness of the internet, you're just static. You're just noise. You know, you don't really need to worry about who sees what. So if you make a dumb mistake on VATSIM, who cares, man? Like anybody, you know what I mean? Like anybody's going to tie that to you. Like you're going to go into work the next day and people are going to say, hey man, I saw what happened on VATSIM. It's not like that. We've got a great deal of latitude in this era to be anonymous and to, I don't know, make mistakes. Have some fun. Reno. I've spent a lot of time in Reno, oddly enough. Living in Tahoe. When you get island fever, when Tahoe is just a little bit too small for you, you drive over the hill to Reno. It's also where people fly in and out of. So anytime somebody comes to Tahoe, I mean, you can fly into Tahoe. There's an airport there with a decent runway, but it's probably another $500 for a ticket. Oh, depending on the season, I'd say between another $200 to $500 for a ticket directly into Tahoe. So what you do is you fly into Reno, and you tell your pal to come get you. In this case, your pal is me, and I hop in my truck and drive over the mountain to Reno. Fried, how are you, my friend? How's your weekend treating you? Reno is one of the most spread out towns that I've ever been in. Reno and Oklahoma City are very similar in that way. The basin that Reno is in has got to be like 40 miles across, and it's only a few 100,000 people, like residents of the city, but it's just this massive spread out area, and you sort of come down into it from a mesa, a plateau, and so it spreads out and you can actually see how big it is as you're getting down into the basin. It's a cool town. I don't know that I'd want to live there, but it's a cool town. No complaints. Couldn't celebrate Halloween. You on lockdown? God, I love the turbo sound. I'm so happy they put that slider in. I didn't go crazy with it. I was tempted to. I didn't go crazy with the turbo slider, but I really, really like that sound. I'm sorry to hear that. We are arguably headed that way. And that did say pull in, did it not? Yeah. I do think the sounds are getting better and better in this game. I know they didn't really talk about sound improvements at all for 1.39 for the beta, but I feel like the sound is better. It is ATS. Did I say ETS too? Oh no. Oh, I'm an idiot. All right, I'll fix that after the stream. Yeah. Oh, hang on. I gotta pass our inspection. Yep, it's no. This is that famous German desert. Not a lot of people know about it. It's they keep it a big secret. You can see it from space, though. Yeah, this is the German desert. You know what? 2020 has been a hell of a year, man. I'll tell you what. It's anything that happens now, I just blame it on 2020. Oh, and you know what? Hang on, let me go third person because we got a low boy on. It's kind of medium length, and we got this big digger on it. So, yep. And let me. I thought I had my beacons on. Put my beacons back on. There's my beacons. I'll get it together. It's, you know, it's the weekend. I'm in, I don't know, I'm in some kind of a way. All right. What else is going on? Oh yeah, this is my virtual trucking company. I make a new one every year. This is my 2020 virtual trucking company. Well, it's a virtual transport company now because I've got it on my planes, I've got it on my trains, and what else do I have? I didn't put it on my tractors yet, but I was thinking we could expand our transportation company out to agriculture as well. And oh, thanks, Fiona, I appreciate that. And we'll turn into a multinational. We'll be like Unilever or Nabisco. We'll just We'll take over the world. We'll take over everything. Oh, and I use it. I also I sponsor my own race cars. It's possible I play too many video games. It's possible I'm taking this a bit too seriously. Anything's possible. All right, I don't really want to go 80 miles per hour in this truck. I just don't. That's way too fast. So I think we're going to set the cruise control at 70. Yep, right about there. And it's getting to be evening. Fantastic. So we'll drive a little bit in the daytime. We'll drive a little bit at night. We'll probably have to sleep at some point. This will be perfect. It's a nice long trip too. It's almost from one side of the map to the other because Santa Cruz is on the ocean. That's as far west as you can go. And Provo is center of Utah. And there's nothing really east of Utah until the Colorado DLC drops. So we're going from one side of the map to the other. It might take a minute. Ooh, carefully. Yeah, some of these turns are still a little tighter than what you'd get on an American freeway. I think the reason they do that maybe is to, I don't know, just kind of keep you on your toes. You know, that you can't just drive flat out. You need to sort of adjust your speed and slow down for turns. Oh yeah. Yeah, Fried. It's there's a lot of secrets about Germany. People don't know these things. Yeah, they got mountains, oceans, deserts, all kinds of stuff. American trucks. Now, in my defense, I will say, there are days it feels like a miracle to me that this is working at all. Because OBS is open source. I don't fully understand it. My system is stable, but, oh, hang on. Okay. All right. I'm going to put that all into Google Translate as soon as I'm done. Whoa! I don't know if you saw the Range Rover getting kind of crazy there. Caught a little bit of air. All right. Carefully. Oh, very twisty. Oh, fortunately there was nobody beside us for that. Now we were going, the speed limit was 80. We were going 70, and we just barely got slowed down to about 60, and we were still, the momentum was carrying us across the lanes. I would have liked to have seen that posted a little better, maybe. You know, then we need to slow down for that. Yeah, I would say that's why the developers have, because this is well, no, this is older. This is Nevada, so this is from the original ATS in 2016. But I think if they made the roads 100% accurate, they would be so straight and flat and boring. You know, just it might not even be fun. Maybe that's why they keep them a little tight and twisty. Just as long as it's not the older parts of the European maps that are too twisty. Feels too much like a video game. Well, this is a nice sky. And this is base game. We're not running any textures or mods or anything. That's just base game sky. Looks very nice. So the last title for me for this year is MXGP 20. In early December. That's another milestone title, and I think it's going to be a lot like MXGP 19. I haven't really heard anything about it, and in my experience, when developers don't talk about their game before they release it, it's because there's not really a lot to talk about. So we'll see what MXGP 20 has in it. It's going to be new pajamas, I bet, but I still like those games. I really do. I think Milestone does a pretty good job. It's almost impossible to make a motorcycle video game that feels like a sim. It's just, I mean, you steer a motorcycle with your butt, with your weight, and oh, hey Fred, no worries. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Have a good evening. Yeah, the way you control a motorcycle in real life, I don't know if there's any way to replicate that in a video game. Maybe with a Wii? Maybe? I don't know. Even that would be difficult, but there needs to be, you've got to find another control mechanism. And anytime you go gamepad, I mean, I guess you can use a wheel for the Milestone motorcycle games, but that would feel so weird for me. Particularly the motocross games, right? Like MotoGP and Ride would be one thing, but the motocross games, that would just be nuts. For me. Yeah, you do you. But once you go to gamepad, I feel like the possibility of something being a proper sim is, it becomes a lot more difficult. It's not impossible, but I think it just gets a lot more difficult for anything that is gamepad based or controller based to really have that sim feel. We're doing okay on fuel. So in that way, all the Milestone titles are just video games. None of them are really sims, and they don't pretend to be. None of them have simulator in the title. But at the same time, they are, to me, they seem pretty realistic in some ways. And I've gotten a lot of hours out of them. MotoGP 20, I think, is my favorite MotoGP. And again, that's got that team management aspect. That seems to be popping up a lot in video games now. There's our first yawn, so we will pull over at the next place we can to sleep. That management aspect is popping up a lot. I personally like it. I'd like it more if you could turn it off, but I don't know. If you could turn it off, would it even matter? Right? I don't know. You're sort of forced into it. But look at something like Ride 4, where it's got the career mode license tests, and you can't opt out of those. You can just do races. You can buy any motorcycle you want if you have the money, and you can put any part on it you want. You don't have to level up for parts or anything. And you can do any race you want against any difficulty you want. But if you want to get through career, you have to pass the license tests, and I'm struggling with them a little bit. I really am. Something else that I don't like is a lot of it is motorcycles that I would never ride on tracks that I don't particularly enjoy, but you got to get through it. I get that, you know, maybe getting people that are playing the game to kind of branch out a little bit and do things that they wouldn't normally do. I get that if that's what the developers are after. But I don't know. I would prefer if you could turn that off. But like I was saying about teams, if you could turn it off, then does it even matter? Right? Because you know you can always just turn it off. What fun is that? So I get it. I mean, finding balance in a video game is, I think that sometimes is the hardest part, because it's the most vague. Is that the right word? I don't know. Innocuous. For something like, you know, does your game function? That's black and white. Either the game works or it doesn't. You know, does it crash to desktop? Yes. All right, then your game doesn't work. So you get that stuff sorted out, and it's like, okay, you know, does it play at 60 FPS? Yes. Okay, moving on, right? And you just work your way down the list, but then at some point you get to, you know, is it fun? Ooh, I don't know, man. I don't know, because fun is different for everybody. Fun means different things to different people. And there are tropes in gaming. You know, there are standards. There are sort of classic benchmarks. Right? Same problem we have every trip. Every trip. But that's a tricky one. And when you find a game with really, really good balance, I think it is absolutely a credit to the developers that they were able to figure that out, because there's so many different types of players, there's so many different types of gamers, and I mean, in this era, right, it's global. You're talking about different cultures, different age groups, right? A lot of different things kind of come into play when you get into that very vague term of, you know, what is fun. So I know there's a place to sleep here. Let's do this. Hang on. Let's go to the map. And about 2/3 of the way there. Where do we want to sleep? Now, we dropped this trailer once, did we not? Let's go here. Let's go here. There we go. Let's go here. Let's drop our trailer over here somewhere and pull in here to sleep. Yeah, let's try that.
Okay, here we go.
All right, so we're going to get off here. We're going to get off here, pull around the corner there, drop the trailer, right? So we're not messing around with it in town. We'll go sleep at the hotel. I'm sorry, we'll go sleep at the diesel shop. And then we'll get on out of here in the morning. There's a good gear. Wait for this traffic to clear. So yeah, anytime a developer hits that sweet spot, I'm just very impressed. And then there are some games that are like legendary for balance. Come on now. There we go. Something like Age of Empires or Command and Conquer. Some of the Call of Duty. I'm trying to think what other, I wouldn't say perfect games, but games that are really, really well balanced. Truck Simulator. Perfect example. I see fuel here. How do we want to do this? I don't know if we can do this. We're okay on fuel. We might not be okay to get all the way there, but we're okay enough. So we're going to skip fuel for now. So yeah, building a balanced game to me is very, very impressive. And I would think there's also, as a developer, you're sort of numb to your own game because you've been seeing it 10 hours a day for like a year and a half. And you were seeing it before anybody even knew it was going to be a game, right? You and your development team, and you've just been exposed to it. You've tested it, you've played it, right? You've seen all the different iterations that it's gone through. And it's like saying a word over and over and it loses all meaning. I wonder if you've had that much exposure to a game, to a title, if it's even possible to like not be objective about it, but you know what I mean, to be to have a thought on it. I'm not saying it right. You know what I mean. You're numb to it. And so how do you know whether or not it's balanced? How do you know whether or not it needs work on it? Let's go, can we go? No, those look like great big rocks. I thought they were little tumbleweeds or something, but those look like great big rocks. Well, if we don't get to any place between here and there, I don't want to just leave this thing on this street. Go in there. No. Alright. Well, this looks like a busier road. Maybe there will be room for us to pull into the diesel shop and get it all the way around. We're running out of options here. Green light for us. Beautiful. Alright, this thing isn't that long. We don't really have a choice at this point. So let's see if we can do this. Get over there.
Okay, let's find a new route.
Get over there. Yep, this works out. So what we'll do then is... Alright, let's do this. If we come over here... So if we pull into one of the sleep triggers with this on, it won't let us sleep. But I don't want to leave it where it's blocking everything. So let's pull it right over here. Alright. Right about like so.
Let's do this.
Alright, right in here. Neutral. Set the brake. Beacon's off. Parking lights on. Windows are down. Engine is off. Let's get some sleep. And it's raining. Alright. Get the windows up. Wipers on. Brake is off. Can we... I'm going to try to do this in cab. I've been trying to do more stuff in cab with track IR. Not quite there yet. I'm getting better at it, but still needs some work. All right. So do that like that. All right. We'll get this thing hooked up again. We're okay on fuel for the moment, and we'll be on our way. All right. Let's see if we can do this. All right. Try not to hit the bushes. All right. There we go. And we're out of air pressure. But I think we'll have enough to get out of here. Oh, that's interesting. When the trailer got connected, our brake pressure actually went up. That wouldn't happen in real life, would it? I don't know. I'll have to ask a trucker. I guess if there was still pressure in the tank on the trailer, is that a thing? Unknown. All right. Here we go. This way, and then over this way, serpentine. We'll get on out of here. So far so good. All right. And while we're at this light, I'm going to set the brake and grab some coffee. Perfect. All right. I saw a big, well, not that big, a couple hundred meg patch come in for both ETS and ATS. So I'm hoping sometime this week we get the announcement for Colorado and Iberia. And I forgot when I was looking at the ETS map, because I rarely go that far up to the northeast. We got the, is it Beyond the Baltics or Beyond the Baltic Sea? Yeah, but we got that DLC somewhat recently. So it is, I don't know, there's a lot on the map now. Oh, look at this guy. Sir, you are, you are messing me up, buddy. Alright. And then, jeez. Problematic AI. But I always forget about that part of the map. I feel like it goes over to Poland and then just kind of stops. But there is parts of the map east of Poland. And I'd also forgotten about Greece, that we could go on the southern part of the map. We could go east into Greece, because we do have Turkey. Yeah, we do have Turkey now. That's the Road to the Black Sea DLC. There we go. Lights up. All right, we're rolling. Yep, arguably my favorite game. This one. Well, I think of this and ETS as the same game now. All right, we're gonna get weighed. It's been not quite uneventful, but for all the shenanigans that we've gotten into on this trip so far. No tickets. And we haven't hit anything. Alright. So right about in here somewhere. Right there. Right there. Here we go. I know I'm speeding a little bit. The trigger for your next speed limit in that parking lot . Yeah, until they add a feature to the AI that makes them move over when they're passing places like that, as you would in real life. I mean, not everybody does, but you're expected to, at least in the US, you're expected to move over to the fast lane when you're passing a place like that, knowing that there are going to be trucks exiting, trying to get up to speed. So you are expected to pull to the left. So I figure until they do that, until they add that to the AI, when I'm pulling out of there, I'm going to need to be a little bit creative. Not 100% legit, but you know, we do what we got to do. And I am going to stream Cattle and Crops tomorrow, same time as always. And then from there, I don't know. I mean, I was thinking about doing an X-Plane stream, but then I see those people that I follow. One of them is it's 320 Sim Pilot. Yeah, it's got the. I don't want to call it like a basic name, but you know what I mean. He's just the 320 Sim Pilot. So he's got that handle, and then the other one is Flight Deck to Sim. One's a 320 pilot, one's a 737 pilot. I kind of want to do another live stream, but since I've been watching them a lot, I feel like I gotta up my game a little bit. I gotta improve my quality before I try anything like that. So I don't know. Maybe we'll do some general aviation, do another low-level flight or something. I don't know. Figure something out. Play it by ear, as we always do. Nevada, Interstate 80. This is about one of the creepiest roads I've ever been on in my life. It's very spooky out in the desert. I don't know why, but at night it is. There's tons of traffic. There's tons of people around you, so you know you get that factor. It's not like you're by yourself or anything. It's just, you know, it's just weird. It's a weird part of the world. All of the desert Southwest in the U.S. is haunted, for lack of a better word. Skinwalkers. You know, see the same hitchhiker twice, that kind of deal. All right, and we're gonna descend down out of the mountains now. Maybe. Let's get slowed down a little bit here. Let's just calm down, everybody. There we go. I can't believe these are all base game sounds. I know I keep saying that, but game sounds really, really good with just vanilla sound at the moment. All right, so there is 70. Gonna lock into cruise control. Let's see how we do here. And still looking at fuel. Yeah, half a tank. I think half a tank is enough to get us into Provo. I hope. Oh, you know what? I just realized we're gonna turn. Whoa, careful. Turn these on. Turn our beacons on. And we've got, is there two more sets of mountains to cross. Eli. Okay, so we're getting pretty close. Debating stuff here and get fuel. No, I'm gonna continue on. If we see a place closer to the highway where we can get fuel, go ahead and do that. But I think for now, let's keep rolling. And I think this might be the last trip we take in the Mac Anthem. I want to get 389 built for this test profile. Here we go. Welcome to Utah. I've already got a skin for it, so we would just need to build it up, throw the skin on it, and I think a 389 would look good with these low trailers. It'd be very fitting. And we've got enough money. I think I threw like $2.5 million in the account when we started. So no worries there. All right. Stop the truck at scale ahead. All right. I thought we were. All right, here we go. Oh, hey, our weight is a little bit different. I wonder if this thing actually like takes fuel weight into consideration. I mean, it must, because there's nothing else that changed as far as the weight of our truck other than the fuel that we've used since the last time we got weighed. That's interesting. So it does calculate that in. All right. Oh. Somehow. All the way from Santa Cruz, somehow. We haven't hit anything yet. A lot of close calls, though. Oh yeah, this looks familiar. Well, we may have seen it down near Las Vegas, but there's another cell phone tower disguised as a Joshua tree, and I'm convinced gear, get the cruise control locked in, and make our way into Provo. There we go. So that mod that got broken for Flight Sim, the fly-by-wire Airbus 320, I understand it has been fixed. So I need to give that a try as well. I want to try that same flight. I've been doing like the Jason Bourne World Tour. I've been flying from like Zurich to Amsterdam and Frankfurt to Geneva, and just pretty much any city that's been in a Jason Bourne movie, that's where I've been flying to. I don't know why I'm finding it more appealing than flying the same aircraft between American cities, and there's certainly plenty of American cities of similar size that you could find that are a similar distance apart. I'm not sure what it is, and it could be the density, it could be the scenery. I don't know, but I am enjoying it, and I'm going to slow down just a little bit. I realize we're almost 80 miles per hour. That's a bit fast. But yeah, I want to fly the Airbus from Zurich to Amsterdam and just sort of compare the two trips. A very similar aircraft, very similar size and performance and everything. I know pilots would disagree, and they would point out all the minutiae and all the very unique differences between those two aircraft, but you know what I mean. They're both, I don't know, short-haul regional jets, regional airliners. So I need to take that flight, and I mean, visually, there's absolutely no comparison between Flight Simulator 20 and X-Plane. It's not even close. It's almost distracting how different the graphics are. But in terms of how complete the games are and what's missing and how difficult it is to do airliner flights in Flight Simulator 20, for now, they'll fix it at some point, I think, maybe. But for now, there's just so much stuff missing. And apparently nobody's even using the 747. It's that bad, it's that broken, that nobody's even using it. So we'll have to see when and if they get that stuff fixed and what it all looks like when it's done. And also, in fairness, X-Plane 11 was really, it didn't have a whole lot going for it when it was released. It was a pretty broken game. And it's a lot like Truck Sim in that modders have really added to the game. And we want to go straight and then under. Okay. Modders have really added to the game in ways that make you wonder, what would it be, how good would it be, would people even be playing it without the mods? And I think for Truck Sim, on both the ETS and the ATS side, I think if I was just coming into the game now, there's enough to it that I would be, sir. I think there's enough to it now that I would be playing it if I was just seeing it for the first time. But I know when I did see it for the first time a few years ago, it was not lacking. It just didn't have a ton of depth to it, and the modders had already taken over it. Things like Pro Mods and the RJL Scania, and really just added some, I don't know, gave it a little moxie, you know, a little chutzpah. And since then, the developers have filled that in themselves. I'm not using Pro Mods anymore. I don't use the RJL Scania. I'm using mostly base game trucks. But something like Farm Sim is another example. You know, would we be playing Farm Sim the way we do without the mods? And will I be playing Cattle and Crops in a year if they don't bring in a bunch of mods? So X-Plane was not great on day one. The developers have fixed a lot of things, and modders have added a lot to the game. And so from that angle, I think it's important that we give Flight Simulator 20... Flight sim people are like train sim people. They're absolutely merciless when it comes to defending their game and attacking the other game, whatever the other game is. But Flight Simulator 20 has been out for a few weeks, a month now, a little over a month, and it's you've already got 2 camps, and each of them is just, I mean, they're both right. You know, people that say Flight Simulator is just a VFR simulator. Yeah, you're right. It's not quite done yet. And then other people say X-Plane is this ugly, broken, looks like something from the early aughts. And the game itself is very lacking, and it's only the mods that make it work, and that's true too. So, you know, I guess ultimately it comes down to what it is that you want to do, you know, how you want to fly. We're okay? Yep, we're okay. That's the funniest thing to me about those conversations, is both sides are right, you know, but what I can say, having played both back to back many times now, is the difference in graphics can be a little off-putting. We want to pull, are we going in here? I think we are. Yep, right in there. Okay.
It's all over.
It's all over now. So, we'll hook around there a little bit. Let's turn these beacons off, get some windows down. And then we want to throw it all the way over here. And then all the way back. Hopefully this tracks. As long as we don't hit the Jersey barrier, I think we'll be okay. Maybe. Straighten it out. Maybe. That's pretty straight. Alright, I think we just need to creep forward a little bit. There it is. Alright, so we'll set the brake. Engine off. Let's go third person. Take a look. That's what we just hauled here from Santa Cruz. See how we did. We are on time. No damage. 50 grand, 2300 XP. I'll take it. Beautiful. Yeah, that got us halfway to level 22. All right, I'm going to call it there, and I will go fix the title in the description. I apologize. And I'll see you back here tomorrow, same time, give or take, and we'll do some cattle and crops, and then the day after that, maybe we'll do some X-Plane. There you go. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. See you next time. Take care.